What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Spurs suffered another humiliating loss, this time to Arsenal, and the humiliating loss don't stop at the Emirates, I'll tell you that. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1. I had to draw the short story and ended up being at the Emirates yesterday, which was...
Speechless.
Jesus, like literally, I'm finding it hard to put my feelings into words right now, because seriously, that was... I've seen some shit shows at the Emirates in my time. Like, I've seen some big shit shows there. I've seen some shit shows in general, but nothing like what I saw yesterday. I think the yesterday was the worst I've seen us there. And that's saying something.
Even in bad games, we usually have one period during the game where we're looking like we're going to go for it or create something or put them under pressure. But literally, we were camped inside our own box for the whole 90 minutes. It was just embarrassing.
It was... Embarrassing is the right word to put it. It was pathetic. It was really pathetic to go into a North London derby when you're supposed to give blood, sweat and tears. I thought the only player that kind of half got what it meant to play in that game was João Palhinha. He was the only one trying to put in some challenges. There was not one player on that pitch that was like, you know what, I'm going to take a bit of initiative here. I'm going to kind of try get this team up the pitch. I'm the one that's going to put in a full-blooded challenge and say what it means to play for Tottenham in a North London derby. Like, we cannot keep going into games like this, like Chelsea and Arsenal, two of our biggest games of the season against two of our biggest rivals, and put in such insipid, gutless displays like that. And yes, it comes down from the manager 100%, and I've been biggest believer in Thomas Frank and the biggest backer of Thomas Frank, but as these performances keep going on, nothing's getting better, it keeps getting worse. And I thought the tactics yesterday, I was one calling for 3 at the back and 5 at the back yesterday, but I think the way he did it was completely all wrong. I think you needed to pack out that midfield. If you're going to play 3 at the back, it needs to be 3-5-2, as I said before the game. Like, we just gave them the whole midfield. Like, literally, we had João Palhinha and Rodrigo Bentancur. Bentancur may as well not been on the pitch yesterday. João Palhinha was trying to do everything on his own, and I felt like we just gave them free roam of our midfield. We have 3 at the back. We have 2 in midfield. We have
5 at the back, I would say.
Well, fine, 5 at the back. We had 2 defensive midfielders on, and we looked open as hell. Like, I don't understand how you can have so many defensive players on the pitch and look as open as we did, as well as not have any attacking threat. So actually, what were we actually doing on the pitch yesterday? I don't understand what the plan was by any stretch of the imagination. I've never seen such a gutless display in all my life. Like that Chelsea game, I didn't think it could get worse than that. I really didn't think it could get worse than that, and it got worse than that at the Emirates yesterday. It's just like, what are we trying to do here? Seriously.
It was like a League 2 side going away to a big team in the FA Cup.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. And I've seen League 2 sides give more of a go against the bigger boys than we did yesterday. We had no ambition to go and attack. Like, literally nothing. Our only plan going forward was give the ball to Kudus. Let's see if he can run around their whole team and make a bit of magic. Or...
let's see if he can be Messi for a game.
You know what I mean? Or give it to a doggy and let's see if he can run around their whole team and do a bit of magic. That was our only plan. Like, what sort of plan is that? I just don't understand it.
Horrendous. In terms of, just quickly, we haven't seen you obviously since yesterday. You were at the ground. What was the feeling inside the stadium before the game, during the game? Like, how was it like being in the stadium with in the away fans? Like, what was the vibe? Obviously, I'm sure it was bad, but like, is there anything you saw in the game which maybe TV cameras might not have picked up or anything like that? Or
I would say
in the crowd?
I would say before the game, Spurs fans were very high-spirited, very loud, marching into the Emirates like it was our own patch. And I think the main kind of takeaway of what everyone was saying, I don't think we got a hope in hell, but let's just go give it our all and sing loud and proud for the lads, and maybe something can happen off the back of it. I think that was the kind of general feeling. I don't think anyone, maybe apart from Brian, and you know, I was kind of deluding myself before the game, thinking, you know what, we could, as one beer went, as another beer went, I was like, come on, we can do this today. But in reality, not one bit of me thought, you know, we could have got the job done, and I think that was the feeling with the majority of Spurs fans going into it, and that's sad, and that is really sad. You know, you're going into a game, especially against Arsenal in the North London derby, not with a hope in hell, thinking that you can get a result.
And that is sad in terms of like the fans though with their reactions towards like the players and Frank? Was it like turning toxic? Was it not? Like,
to be honest, I didn't stick around to see that happen at the end of the game. I needed to get out of there quickly because I was absolutely raging, and I left with about 10 minutes to go. A lot of angry people around Frank.
It was very empty. We could see.
Yeah, the away end was empty. People were. I mean, when I was walking back to the car after the game, the streets were just full of Spurs.
Last time it was that empty away at the Emirates, we got a 4-4 draw.
I know, but that was no chance of that happening this time. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of fans massively questioning Thomas Frank now. I think that's the truth of it. You can't keep putting in these displays and not question. And, you know, even someone like me who's been a massive backer of Frank, I'm questioning it. I'm questioning everything right now.
We'll get into Frank. We'll get into a whole conversation about him. But in terms of like the game yesterday in the North London derby, like Frank said before the game, he said, we're not going to go there to just to not lose. We're going to go there and try to win. He said after the game, he said the game plan, the intention going into this game was the complete opposite of what we saw.
He seems to say that every game now.
Performance, and then he said that after Chelsea, just a bad performance. He said that a few games, and it is so concerning seeing the lack of intensity. And it was there for all to see because I think there are two. I highlighted this a few times, but look at the first goal. Timber has 4 Tottenham players around him. He has 2 behind him and 2 ahead of him. And not one player goes in for a challenge. Not one player gets near him and is aggressive and makes it difficult for him and makes it tough for him to make a decision, force him backwards, whatever. We're just sitting there, watching him turn, play it to Marino. He then opens up for Trossard. Arsenal, on the other hand, when they got 3 players around our players, they're pressing intensely. They're making it impossible for us to play. They're being so aggressive. They're getting stuck in. And it's just mind-boggling how our players approach the game after an international break. You know, there shouldn't really be any excuse of like fatigue or anything like that, how we approach that game. It's like we approached it like giving up before the game even started. How could you have such a lack of intensity in a North London, in any game, but especially in North London derby? That wouldn't be acceptable against Norwich at home, let alone Arsenal. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous how we approach that game with such a lack of fight and courage. It's embarrassing, and I have to say, like, what is the message going into this game? Because he's saying before when the message isn't that we're going to go there and win. The message isn't we're going there not to lose. But we saw anything but. At times, it was a back 7. At times, you saw Paulinho and Bentancur go into the back line, and it was a back 7. It was like there was just no way out. And as soon as we got the ball, right, we had no player in front of us. The plan, it seemed to be, let's lump it to Richarlison, who had 3 Arsenal defenders around him at any one point. On the one time, maybe out of like the 10, he would hold it up. He had no player to hold it up to. And he would hold it up and then he would like maybe win a throw. And that's like the best we did. Yeah. Like the kind of attempt was, the plan was, it was embarrassing. Kudus and Odegaard, I think, Richarlison and Odegaard didn't have a touch of the ball until the 25th minute. They didn't have a touch of the ball. Like, how can you expect Tottenham to even get near Arsenal's box or attack when we can't even touch the ball, let alone, have a shot. We can't touch the ball. The plan seemed to be get a free kick on the halfway line and get Vicario to lump it in their box. Yeah. That is like, even Stoke had a better plan than that. Yeah. Like we had absolutely no plan, and I get it. It is Arsenal, so in terms of, forget the derby, I'm saying quality of team. I do understand they are one of the best teams in the league, probably one of the best teams in Europe right now, you've got to say. And I'm not saying, like, fair is fair. It's not like Tottenham are the only team who have struggled to have a shot on target this season against Arsenal. They do have had a long stretch of games, right? They didn't even concede a shot on target, let alone a goal. So I'm not saying it's easy to go to Arsenal and play well and attack and create chances. The problem is this isn't a one-off. The problem is this has been a theme the whole season of not forget Arsenal. There's a lot of teams we've really struggled to create chances. At a moment where, for chances created, we're 19th for the league. That is That is unacceptable. That is a shocking stat. So when you have that all-round picture, and then you put that into the North London derby, like, it is so concerning. And I was ready yesterday. Like, you've watched along. I don't really care if if we're in a low block and we're defending and whatever. Like, against Arsenal away, if we could shithouse a point, I wouldn't really have cared, to be honest, if we got a result. But the problem is when you have that kind of performance off the back of how we've been playing on the ball this season, big question marks are asked overall about what is happening at this football club right now. And the players seem to be lacking a lot of belief. Players seem to be lacking belief about what the plan is at the moment.
Completely agree.
That is a big problem.
Yeah, completely agree. Like, I don't understand how professionals can go into a game of this magnitude with all the kind of media that the team are putting out, everything surrounding the game. Everyone knows this is a big game. Even, Javi Simmons was involved in some sort of media thing to hype up the North London derby. Everyone knows how big this game is. I just don't understand the clear lack of fight throughout the whole team. I just don't get it. Like, even if the tactics are all wrong, you would expect to see a bit more fight than what you saw.
And that's the thing. Against PSG, we played a similar. I know it was 3-5-2, but we saw a similar formation, and it was night and day performance from what we saw. Even the Man City, it was different formation, but yes, it was similar. Like, the plan wasn't to dominate possession. The plan was sit back and counter. But we were so much more aggressive in those games. If you look back at those games, we were pressing a lot higher. We were getting stuck in a lot more. Yes, we did, especially in the PSG game, we were relying a lot more on set pieces, but we seemed to have a plan on the ball. We were a lot more, seemed like direct in our attacks. We looked to get players forward on occasion. And I think going into this game, when I saw the lineup, I was because I thought, actually, I looked at the lineup, and I know we predicted a back three. I was like, okay, we're playing Kudus and Odegaard and Rishi and Doggy and Spencer. I was like, this is actually potentially could be a more offensive team than I even expected. But the way he played it, it was like he told Spencer and Doggy don't cross the halfway line. Yeah. It's like, then it's not a wing backs, it's literally 2 fullbacks and 3 centre backs and then 2 defensive midfielders. While also Odegaard and Kudus looks like they've been asked to track the Arsenal fullbacks. So all of a sudden they're also penned back, and so you're leaving Richarlison up front. So it was. You can play a back five, but why aren't the players being super aggressive in that back five? Why aren't they crossing the halfway line? Why aren't they being brave? They're risk averse. Is just because a back five doesn't mean it has to be defensive. You know what I mean?
100%, and that's what I was saying, because a lot of people that I was speaking to did have a few problems with the lineup when they saw us go 5 at the back. They're saying, "Oh, we're coming here for a draw. We're not, going to be taking it to them," and they thought it lacked a bit of ambition going back 5. But I was saying, no, look, you don't have. It's not going to be, just because it's a back 5 doesn't mean it has to be defensive. We've got offensive players on there. We can get Porro and Udogie high up the pitch. We can be aggressive and win the ball back in the middle of the park. But we played like we were holding on for a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 win for pretty much for 90 minutes. That's what it felt like.
It was like stoppage time.
From the first 10 minutes, it felt like it was stoppage time going into the end of the game. We were trying to hold on to something. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is no way to play football. Like, I don't understand, like, if he's seeing these performances over the past couple of weeks and a few others sprinkled in there and think that, we're going in the right direction. And I gave a pass to a lot of them. I gave a pass to the Bournemouth game. I gave a pass to the Boda game. I gave a pass to the Monaco game. I've given a pass to so many of these tragic displays that we've put in this season. And in a lot of those games, we haven't got what's really we should have got and what had been coming to us. We could have got battered in a lot of those games. Well, it happened here in the worst place for it to happen. We finally got what was coming. And it could have been more. It could have been more.
He's got the humiliation of pre-press conference. He goes, "Oh, who's Eze?"
Oh,
and
mate.
He scored a hat-trick.
Yeah. Everyone knew Eze. Literally every single person I spoke to before the game said Eze was going to score.
Obviously going to score. But he scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
First Arsenal player to score a hat-trick in the derby in God knows how long. When was the last time a Arsenal
I think since the 70s.
Embarrassing. And he's out there on the pitch giggling, laughing, taking a piss out of us.
Mm-hmm.
And no one is taking charge of, like, okay, we can't let them take the piss out of us. Turn it into the Battle of the Bridge. Have some guts about you.
Yeah.
Have some heart about you. Don't allow yourselves to get humiliated. Eze is out there taking the piss out of you, giggling on the pitch. He's looking at the camera and laughing, and you're just accepting it.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
There was just not one bit of that performance Not one bit of anything from Frank's tactics to the performance to the player application on the pitch where you can sit there and say, you know what, it's a bad defeat at the Emirates, which we've had, but you know we can move on from this, dust ourselves off, and make it and turn it right the next game, because we've won 2 games now since the beginning of October. I think Leeds away and Everton away. Those are the only 2 games. Where every other game has been pretty much a shambles of performance. Let's be honest.
You can't exactly say those games were great.
Yeah.
We won them, but you can go watch. I remember we had a big debate after the Everton game. I was like, yeah, we won, but are we actually playing that well? And whatever. Don't want to go into that right now, but it's a big problem for us at the moment in terms of just the way we're playing. There doesn't seem to be much improvement at all.
It's just, yeah, look, you're not wrong, but the reality is with the game yesterday, Arsenal completely wiped the floor with us, and they weren't even near their best.
No,
I don't even think they were close to their best. Literally did not get out of first gear. They were like at walking pace for the majority of the game, and they completely destroyed us. Like literally, we couldn't touch them, and they had so many gears to go up, like so many, and that's the worrying thing about it, because I think it was similar against Chelsea, to be honest, because I think Chelsea had so many gears to go up that day as well, and didn't. We are just rolling over for teams without any sort of plan, without any sort of fight, without any sort of ambition. And I'm struggling to see where we actually go and what we're actually doing.
And you could actually see yesterday in the game, and I'm not saying the first half was great, but if we're actually, if you're taking the game as it was, for the first 40 minutes, we actually didn't concede too many chances. Like, Rice obviously had that chance right at the beginning. Saka had like a free kick which Vicario saves. Other than that, it was don't get me wrong, it was completely Arsenal domination, but we were defending fairly well, albeit it was very deep and very pragmatic, but we weren't conceding any chances. But as soon as they got that goal, it was like we were clueless.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this wasn't in the script. Oh, we didn't plan for this.
Yeah.
It's like we had no, and then all of a sudden, 1 became 2 very quickly, 2 became 3 very, very quickly, and it's like the plan was out the window. It's like we didn't plan for the eventuality that Arsenal might take the lead. It was playing.
You know what? You can say that we defended well for the opening half an hour before they scored, which we were. But I kept saying to Brian in that opening half an hour before we conceded, we're just waiting to die here. Literally, we are just waiting to die. We are camped out in our own half. Any time we can get out of our own half, it's just one ball out to Richarlison, which he ultimately always gives away a foul or something like that, and the ball comes straight back. Like, I was horrified from the first half an hour, and I thought, as soon as one goal goes in, the floodgates could potentially open here, and that's exactly what happened.
And it was very quickly. It didn't even need a lot. Like, as soon as they got that goal, it was like plain sailing for them. And then all of a sudden they found it easy to open us up, and it was just shocking. I think
for me yesterday, if I'm an Arsenal fan looking at that, obviously it's going to be unbelievable for an Arsenal fan, but forget an Arsenal fan looking at it. But I'm looking at it this way, where I don't even think Arsenal had to do too much to beat us. I think this was all on us and all the way we played, because if we played a bit better, we could have done something in that game yesterday. If we were a bit more aggressive, maybe we wouldn't have won, but at least we could have shown a bit more fight and had a few opportunities on their goal and actually made it into a North London derby, what a North London derby is supposed to be. But to go down like that is completely unacceptable. It really is completely unacceptable. You cannot lose a North London derby, concede 4 goals and not have any fight in the game. Our only shot on target from the halfway line, essentially. Like, what are we doing here? Seriously.
He did change at half-time. Xavi came on for Danso, and then within a minute, we conceded another goal.
Yeah.
I don't understand what... all 3 goals from Eze were all the same goal. All of them were the same thing. Him picking up the ball, edge of the box, and having time and space to finish.
But I don't understand it.
How is Paulinho and Bentancur not
100%. Why if you got one of their most dangerous men, forget dangerous, any man, any Arsenal man, with so much time and space when you've got so many defensive players and that setup that we've put on? It just doesn't make sense. Like, surely the players have got to have a bit more about them and actually show some energy, close down some men, man. Where's the full-blooded challenges? This is a fucking North London derby.
It's embarrassing. But I thought in the second half when Xavi came on, I can't really say it was better, but we weren't obviously as deep as we were in that first half, which was like,
he was probably our best player.
Yeah, Javi came on, won a few free kicks, which is more than anyone else can
Exactly.
take, and look, to be fair, Richarlison's goal, brilliant goal, out of nothing, but had to take it as well as he did.
It was a great challenge from João Palhinha.
Great challenge from Palhinha, brilliant goal from Rid, like credit to him, great finish, but that's literally all we had. Like a shot from the halfway line was the best we can muster, was the only chance we had. And that is just inexcusable in any game, let alone the North London derby, how you can only have that.
It's really hard to take, man. It's really, because like saying, like most Spurs fans don't expect much in general when you go into the Emirates, but to go down like that, I mean, I'm just like completely lost for words, man. Like seriously, like I never thought it could get that bad. I was shocked, and I shouldn't have been shocked. And you know what, with us Spurs fans, man, we go into every game so excited after getting demoralised the week before every time. It's like, I swear it's like an addiction, I swear.
That's what it is.
I swear, because it's just like we go into every game after humiliation, and then we kind of brush that humiliation off and we're like, all right, let's go again. North London derby, it's our year, it's our day. Same thing. Trust me, Tuesday or Wednesday morning, we'll be like, come on, we can do something at PSG. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and then an embarrassment will come, and then we'll come to Fulham and we're like, all right, surely, Fulham at home, you know what, we're going to do the business. And maybe we'll scrape a 1-0 win, playing some tragic football. And then we'll be like, all right, fine, we've got a win, we're going to move on. Who's like Newcastle away? Oh, you know what? We won our last game. You never know. Newcastle not the same team as they were last year. Maybe we'll do something, and then we'll get embarrassed, and then the whole thing cycle starts again. It's just the life of a Spurs fan, man. This club, man.
Anyway, I'm sick of talking this game, but I think we should talk about Frank, because that's been a big topic, especially on social media.